Hi guys, how are you? Hope everybody is having a great week. So again, while we're still all kind of getting to know each other, my name is Stephanie. I am the Chief Revenue Officer at Produce Your Podcast, which is the full service agency that Tracy DeForge owns. And a bunch of our team PYP members are admins in this group. You'll see us around. So a couple things. Thank you all for just being so active in terms of Messenger and asking your questions. We are so excited about the content that's coming forth in this group. And I get excited because I'll take any reason to chat about sales, marketing, podcasting, all of the things. So a couple things. We got a lot of requests in terms of like marketing tips and things like that. And so both myself and Camille will pop in and just give you little downloads of stuff to think about. But I really wanted to show you there's a resource that we use all the time in marketing. I think I've had this book for like 10 years, or at least since it's been published. It's probably been almost 10 years, if not definitely 10 years. But it is like my guide for everything copywriting. So let me show it to you because we just used it again yesterday. We were working on some webinar stuff, and I know this is mirrored, but it's called How to Write Copy That Sells by Ray Edward. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. If you are not someone who's doing like full-blown sales pages, like most of you don't need that stuff, but there's a lot in here that will pull through to social media posts, email newsletter writing, and it's really, really good at helping you get down into what is the thing you are solving, how to communicate it really clearly. And like I said, I use this thing like all the time. So that would definitely be tip number one. If you're just looking to kind of add to your arsenal in terms of marketing resources, that is definitely my number one copywriting resource that, again, really more so works for like a business setting and just getting everything out there. Like I said, it could be an email newsletter. It could be social media posts. It could be posts to get people to your email newsletter. So definitely really recommend that. The other thing that I really want to kind of plant the seed with you while we're just on this kind of like marketing tip topic, one of the big things that makes a big difference for us from a manageability standpoint in our own marketing at PYP is just being super, super committed to repurposing and reiterating content that you know works. Now, if you're just starting out, maybe you don't really know what content works quite yet, and you just need a little bit more time on your side. I'm a big fan of saying like work in 90-day sprints on everything. So for example, let's say you've committed to LinkedIn as your platform. I'm just pulling this example right from us because that's our main marketing platform. When Camille and I first got together and really built out the marketing for Produce Your Podcast, we went all in terms of LinkedIn, and we pulled content and we wrote content based on the things that we knew at the time. And then we just really kept an eye on what things were getting likes, what people were responding to. Because I also work in business development and I have so many prospect conversations, all I did was every time a prospect would have a question, I would make a note of it and we would go and create content around it. So when I talk about kind of getting started with content, start with what you know, with what you have available to you, and keep at those certain topics for about 90 days. And then do an audit and go back through and say, what's working, what's not, what do we want to do more of, what does not feel good for me to keep doing? And go back through and just, again, keep repurposing, keep reiterating what you know works. So let me give you a really specific example. We have a program that's separate from everything we do here. It's actually for podcast hosts that want to grow their shows, and it's called the Growth Accelerator Program. When we first launched that program, one of the big things we just kept running into with that program time and time and time again was we had a lot of podcasters that never had a call to action in their episodes. And it seems so simple and it seems so small, but we just kept seeing it over and over again. And so that kept coming up in podcast reviews. It kept coming up for me in consultations. We were talking about it in the program. So we created content around calls to action. And so when I say repurpose, and I mean reiterate, what we did was we created a caption and a visual, right? Teaching people, our 4 kind of methodologies for call to actions. We obviously reposted that as is. But then the other thing we did was we took that caption and we posted it with a new image, right? Or we used the same image, but we shortened the caption. So we created this one piece of content. And at this point, literally, it wasn't even like a video. It was a caption and a Canva image. And we just kept reiterating it and repurposing it until we got it to a place where we felt so good about that messaging. The really funny thing about marketing too is like, sometimes you'll just never get to that point of messaging where you're like, this works 100% of the time. That really doesn't exist. But from more marketing that and remarketing it and just keep on at it, we kept learning more. And so that really allowed us to go back through and say, okay, here's a topic and a piece of content we feel so good about. And we created this one thing, but we have like 4 to 5 variations of it. So we can pre-schedule a lot of that because we know it works, we know it's relevant, and we can keep going at it from that point. So again, just in terms of marketing tips, we always want to hop in and just kind of give you those in the moment things, whether it's something we're doing right now that we want to share from a business building standpoint, internal systems and operations, or just in response to the questions that we get through Messenger and in the feed. In terms of everybody's requests for number one copywriting resources, again, maybe it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I use this bad boy probably every single day. And I reference it quite often and have for, like I said, if this book hasn't been out for 10 years, then I think I bought it when it first came out. And then in terms of your marketing calendars and content and making that really manageable for you, creating something one time and then repurposing and reiterating it when you know what works. So I hope this is helpful. If any of this feels like it's like, I'm not there yet, or I need the step before, or also, yeah, I got that already. Tell me what's next. Definitely give us feedback. We're going to do more of these videos. We're always creating content for this group, and we really want it to work for you and make a difference for you. So anything we can do to support you, any other questions you have, things like that, definitely keep us posted. And as always, if you need us, you know where to find us. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.